Hi, this is Louis Paul. This is The Colors of Prog. Discuss progressive rock music. So, this is season 4, episode 6. My best of 2023 releases in progressive music. I guess you could say it's all in the ear of the beholder, of the listener. There's many different lists out there. There's top 10, top 15, top 20, top 25, top 30. I will say an honorable mention that almost made this list was the Yes album, Mirror to the Sky, which surprised a lot of people, and it was quite good. Probably, most likely, the best Yes album of studio material, all new studio material in quite some time. But, and there were a few other releases from late 2022 that showed up early 2023, but they were still 2022 releases. I think I mentioned some of them last year's best of. I also refrained from things from earlier years that I only listened to in 2023, whether they were reissues, anniversary releases. A lot of those Steven Wilson, Jethro Tull items showed up. And I'd rather just stick this time to what came out in 2023. Traditionally, things like this show up in December or even January, my best of list, from various people. A lot of the online sites have already done that. Some magazines have done that. I've seen readers' polls, which are a bit strange because a lot of those bands haven't released studio albums in years. So if they were, touring bands, okay. But strange. Anyway, so counting down, we have Moon Safari's Himlabacken Volume 2. It's a terrific release and their first studio album since 2013's Himlabacken Volume 1, 10 years earlier. The band's masterful vocal harmonies are as sharp as ever, but there's more bite and aggression in the guitars, drums, and keyboards. Although the music and vocals were recorded in the band's home of Sweden, Rich Mauser does the mixing and mastering and post-production here did the mixing, mastering, and post-production here in the U.S. It was a great decision to work with the Neil Morse Band and Transatlantic co-producer mixer because he adds a new dimension to Moon Safari's sound. Is 9 songs, and they're all terrific. Between the Devil and Me, song number 2 at nearly 11 minutes, is very good. Beyond the Blue, my personal favorite is Teen Angel Meets the Apocalypse at 21 minutes. If you've have heard the name Moon Safari, but not familiar with them, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube, a lot of video, a lot of songs. They posted songs prior to the release and when this was new. A great band, terrific band. And yes, this is one of my top choices for 2023, Moon Safari. A lot of bands beginning with M ended up on this list. Don't ask me why. Mystery. Redemption. I've covered this French-Canadian band a number of times and even got to see them perform this live this past October. Another great collection of songs and that particular sound of prog that they excel at. Incredible hooks. I swear, guitarist Michel St. Pierre must put all the best Kansas Styx Saga influences in a blender to come up with this many great songs. if you could pick any Mystery album from the band Mystery, any studio album from the past decade, or if not longer, it's like going into some bar or diner and just throwing some coins in a jukebox, and you're hearing all these hit songs that were very catchy songs that you're like, oh, is it that band? Is it that band? And Mystery are that good at what they do. Singer Jean Péju knocks everything out of the park with his stirring vocals. My favorite song is This How the Story Ends. 19 minutes long song that always blows my mind. They are quite good. Like Moon Safari, who I just spoke of, you could find some Mystery live video. They also have a Facebook page to check out for yourself what they sound like. They after a little inactivity, they've been touring a lot. So besides this U.S. show, they've been playing Europe. And I believe currently Moon Safari are in Japan, which is really cool for my Japanese friends. I highly recommend you guys see Moon Safari if you get the chance to check them out during this Japanese tour. They're playing a few gigs there. So Mystery, number 2, best of 2023. Completely out of left field. And the lone Italian release, there was a lot to pick from. I really enjoyed PFM's live release called The Event. But I try not to stick with live albums too much, if you're going to say best of. And this is a studio album, Acqua Fragile, Moving Fragments. Sorry for the glare. The sole Italian band to make the best of 2023 list, but not only because Bernardo Lanzetti, the singer, is still standing and lost none of his powerful and operatic vocal singing style at 70 plus years. But the songs are good. The only holdovers from the original Acqua Fragile, beside Lanzetti, are bass player Franz Dandi, but there's plenty of Mellotron, Hammond organ, Mini Moog, Fender Rhodes, for you keyboard fans. And this is what Acqua Fragile was all about. It was like that, the powerful singing of Lanzetti, swirling all this mix of keyboard sounds. Even David Jackson from Van de Graaff Generator had saxophone and flutes. A surprisingly good album. Next, we have Unitopia, The Seven Chambers. I only discovered Unitopia last year and caught up with the band's 2005 More Than a Dream, 2008's The Garden, Artificial from 2010, and the 2012 release Covered Mirror Volume 1, Smooth as Silk. Yeah, a collection of cover songs from Prog and Prog-related bands. Lead singer Mark Truax has lost none of his distinct vocal powers, and keyboardist Sean Timms are back. But the rest of the band are pretty much all new, with multi-instrumentalist and composer Steve Unruh, Alfonso Johnson of Weather Report, Santana, Wayne Shorter, and solo Phil Collins, Chester Thompson on drums, of course from Weather Report, Zappa, Genesis, solo Phil Collins, and more, and British guitarist Johnny Greenwood. This is a rather daunting concept here. 7 chambers refers to the 7 ventricles of the human heart. So what is it all about? Mark Truax, I understand, had undergone a health scare that was quite serious and led to the creation of songs dealing with survival, redemption, love, and more. The nearly 20-minute long, The Uncertain, concerns the heart operation, its aftermath, healing process, hospital, discharge, and the ambiguity of the healing process. Will I get better? How long does this take? Helen, another long, nearly 20-minute track, also deals with the aftermath of illness and of love lost, perhaps despair, and finally the urge to go on, move forward. Now this, pardon me, this incarnation of Unitopia is a great band musically, and they are on fire. Now, if the subject matter of the material gives you thought for pause, hey, concept albums are made to be original, and few are as seemingly personal and original as this one. It's a 2-disc set, by the way. Disc 1 has 5 songs, and Disc 2, 20-minute tracks. And there's some great, I believe it's Ed Unitsky. Yes, cover art, which also looks quite nice on the vinyl edition. And Ed takes great photos and does some wonderful Photoshop work. So, what is last? United Progressive Fraternity, yes. Planetary Overload Part 2, Hope. This one. After the Covered Mirrors collection of music, some members of Unitopia started the United Progressive Fraternity. Fall in Love with the World, released in 2014, I believe, was the first release. The overriding theme for the group was an ad hoc band led by Unitopia's Mark Truax on lead vocals, with added guests from the progressive rock community, and contributing to songs about the earth, environment, ecology, and why it's so important to respect that, and what we could do to right the wrongs of mistreating the planet we call home. Guy Manning from the band Tangent joins the core band, but there's also appearances by John Anderson, I'm talking about that first album, on backing vocals, Steve Hackett, Steve Unruh, and others. By the time of Planetary Overload Part 1, called Loss, which I just wanted to mention, I'm not reviewing that now. It was 2019. Global warming, wars in other countries joined the Save the Environment theme. Joining Mark Truax was now full-time member of the band Steve Unruh on guitars, violins, mandolin, keyboards, and a variety of percussive instruments. And there appears to be a new core band. Again, many guests: John Anderson, Steve Hackett, Michelle St. Pierre from Mystery, Charlie Kaywood, and too many others to note. And also includes spoken word sound bites woven into the music by the likes of Jane Goodall and Sir David Attenborough. There's also a bonus CD, or a second CD, if you like, called Roman Text Reimagined, and Roman Text spelled Romantechs, like romantics, Roman Text. And that spread 9 songs, about 40 minutes of music. And this brings us to my favorite release of 2023. Planetary Overload Part 2, Hope. Discs 1 and 2 amount to over 2 hours of music. Most attributed to Truax, Unruh, and Chris Leblet, the latter two on a variety of instruments. And as before, there were a lot of guest players, including John Greenwood on guitar, now a member of Unitopia, Rachel Flowers on a variety of instruments, Sean Timms, Charlie Kaywood again, Hackett, St. Pierre, and so many more, including Alfonso Johnson and Chester Thompson, both who are now also in Unitopia. Actually, the full list of contributions of contributors is impressive. Once again, UPF is about raising human consciousness to the Earth, regarding the Earth, how we could treat each other and other species, and how we could do that better. CD1 begins with Hope, is Drums of Hope, segues into Love Never Leaves. It's all good, never preachy, and filled with great vocals, terrific harmonies, and a variety of percussive sounds. And that's the thing with UPF's signature sound. It's very percussive oriented. It's very, it's like drumming and percussion influence from all over the world. And it's quite an original sound to lay this out. But then it makes sense. It's such an international theme. CD2 begins with We Only Get One Chance and flows from there. Some may call it neo-prog, but then is there such a thing as neo-prog? It's symphonic beyond measure, and it's amazing with all these musicians contributing to the music here and collaborating, that as a whole, the album is great. Great musical listening, both in the sung vocals, and I believe all vocals come from Mark Truax, but lead vocals, but there's many more people adding their voices to the background sounds. And personally, I like the message that they are trying to get across, but in a matter of concern and activism, not often heard in progressive music. There's a third bonus disc of more music from the Romantics, who are basically Truax, Steve Unruh, and Chris Lebled, with occasional stick bass contributions from Don Schiff and backing vocals from Claire Vizina from Quebec, Joanna St. Clair, and Holly Truax. While Hope spreads out over 2 discs, certainly contains a message. I got the vibe from the added Romantics CD that these are more of a romantic songs of a nature, but still prog. So it's nice to suddenly have new music in the same year from Unitopia and UPF, and I'll go back to replaying this later today. So, top choices were Moon Safari, Himlabacken, Volume 2, Mystery, Redemption, Acqua, Fragile, Moving Fragments, Unitopia, the 7 Chambers, and my personal favorite of the year is United Progressive Fraternity, Planetary Overload Part 2, Hope. If you don't know where you could find these, you can message me. I'm on YouTube, Podbean, and there's a Colors of Prog Facebook page, or Lewis Paul, it's my Facebook page, and ask questions. If you're having difficulty finding this music, and like to know where you could purchase it, most of these bands, not sure about Acqua Fragile, but all the other bands, I believe, as I've said, do have presence on the internet, social media. So that's our show. I hope you like it. The best of 2023. Honorable mention was, yes, Mirror to the Sky, which I spoke of at length not too long ago because it was a late 2022 release anyway. So hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back soon. Thank you.